All right. Ushawa yo agala swamanga malambizite yege ushawa yo Oh Amen. Isho salenkonzo sithi Ujehova Uliqiniso.
Today's topic says that Yahweh is the truth.
Lesi sihlabelelo kade sihlabelela. Ihlabelelo okusetshenzisweni sipolitiki.
The theme that we just sang is truly in its nature political.
Kodwa ngoba umprofeti wangu-poet ungaba lukhulu ukuthi usheshe uyazi ipolitiki yazi.
But because the prophet was a poet, it would not be easy for you to understand the politics behind it.
Nanokuthi-ke esikhathini sikababa omkhulu wawungeke ikhulume ipolitiki uyebe ngoba njengoba naye wayehlala eboshwa.
In addition to that, in the era of the prophet, you could not speak politically and be left to such a freedom.
Kwiverse lesithathu uthi uShembe izitha zikaJehova zivukela wena.
In the third verse of this hymnal, the prophet said, the enemies of Yahweh rise against you,
Wena Africa.
you Africa.
Uthi ke uShembe lezi zitha zikaJehova seyifuna ukusephuca ubukhosi baphakade esabuthola phezulu kwentaba.
And he goes on to say that these enemies of Yahweh want to deprive us of our eternal royalty that we received atop the mountain.
Asazi nokho ukuthi ngenkathi umprofeti ebhala lesihlabelelo ngenkathi ethi sebefuna ukusephuca ubukhosi baphakade esabuthola entabeni wayisho yiphi intaba noma inhlangakazi noma isinaya.
We do not know whether the prophet was speaking about the Mount Sinai or the Mount Tlangalazi when he spoke about the fact that they wanted to deprive us of our royalty.
Ngoba uShembe kwesisikhathi uyayithi intaba esho intaba senhlangakazi kwesisikhathi ekhuluma ngentaba kanti ukhuluma ngentaba yaseSinayi.
For sometimes the prophet would refer to Mount Tlangalazi as the mountain, and sometimes he'd be speaking about Mount Sinai.
Umoya wami ubuhlungu okuthenini uyawuthi ma ukhuluma indaba kaNkulunkulu abantu bengagcini ngokuyizwa kodwa bekuthuke beshonkela.
My spirit is hurt for whenever you pronounce the word of God, people not only end up by not listening to you, but they also go on to insult you.
Kade ngangichaza ukuthi ukusebenza lo msebenzi akusiyona into eyasukela ogqozini.
For a very long time now, I've been explaining that doing this work of God was not something that came to me through inspiration.
Kodwa kwafika ingilosi evela ezulwini yathi kasiqhubelele ivangeli sibuyisa abantu kuJehova.
But an angel from heaven came to us and said that we must pronounce these news and return people to Yahweh.
Ngakho ke thina njengoba ngimlapha phambi kwenu akakho umuntu wasemhlabeni owakwangithuma ukuthi ngivule ibandla efana nayo.
Therefore, as I stand before you, there is no human who has ever mandated me to start up this congregation.
Kodwa kwafika ingilosi ivela ezulwini yathi inginikeza lo msebenzi ukuthi ngiwenze ngibuyisela abantu kuJehova.
But it is the angel from heaven who mandated me to do this work.
Umuntu ohlakaniphile uyayibona lento engiyikhulumayo.
An intelligent person sees what I'm talking about.
Kodwa isiwula asiboni.
But to the fool, he is blind.
Ngisho ngabe usemhleni noma usephakameni noma uyibandla lamaKristu, umuntu osile nje ekhanda lakhe uyabona ukuthi asibona abantu abathathwe ugqozi kodwa sithunyiwe.
Whether you are a Nazarite from Ebuhleni or a Christian, if you are sane or pure in your thinking, you are able to see that we are not doing this through inspiration, but we have been mandated.
Omunye umuntu ku Facebook ngizwe ethi zinhle impela injumayelo zami kodwa kangishumayela abantu babasheme hayi amaKristu ngishiye phansi amaKristu.
There is a person who said to me on Facebook that he likes my preachings, but I should only preach to the people from the Shembe church and leave the Christians alone.
Angazi ukuthi bechaza ukuthini ngalokho.
I do not know what they meant by saying that.
Kodwa ngiyaphinda lokhu ukuthi njengoba ngilapha njena ngathunywa ezulwini ukuthi ngisebenze lo msebenzi.
But I want to reiterate that I have been mandated by heaven for me to carry out this task.
Manje ke akukazi kwenzeka ukuthi ungafika uthunywe ezulwini ukuthi uzoshumayela bese kuqhamuka bona laba bantu ozobashumayela bethu ungabashumayeli. Into enjalo ayiwakho umqondo.
So therefore you cannot be instructed or mandated by heaven to preach to a people and then be told by the very same people that you should not preach to them. Such a thing does not make any sense.
Angazi noma lo muntu wenziwa ubula noma yini eyenza ukuthi ethi angishumayela amaNazarete kuphela akashembe kodwa bese ngiyela amaKristu. Angazi ukuthi ngoba akazi lutho ngoKristu.
I do not know whether this person was speaking from a perspective of stupidity when he said that I should only preach to the Shembe congregation and leave the Christians alone, for he knows nothing about Christianity.
Ngaphandle kwalokho kumaNazaretha nakumaKristu, out of 10 people cishe abantu abawu5 bafuna lenkonzo.
Apart from that, amongst the Nazarites and the Christians, out of 10 people, 5 of them want to listen to our services.
Ngoba labo bantu ababheke lona ibandla kodwa babheke indaba kaNkulunkulu ukuthi njengoba bekholiwe bayobuya yini ezulwini ngalendlela abakholwe ngayo.
For their focus is not merely on is not congregational, but they want to understand whether they are going to heaven if they pass away from earth. Hence they are listening to us.
Ngakho ke ngifisa ukuba bonke abantu bazi ukuthi ngeke size siyeke ukukhuluma ngaJehova.
Therefore I wish all people to understand that we will never cease speaking about Yahweh.
Noma ngabe lo muntu umKristu noma umNazaretha noma inkolo yomdabu, kodwa lokho esikwenzayo ngeke sikuyeke until size sife.
Whether that person is a Nazarite or a Christian or belongs to the traditional religions, we will not cease what we are doing until death do us part.
Leli ivangeli liyijoka lemphefumulo yethu noma siphila noma sifa. Angeke siphinde silisuse.
Our proclamation is a yoke unto us whether we live or we die, but we cannot unyoke ourselves from it.
Ngakho ke bonke abantu abamnyama abasile lapha emakhanda abayilalele lento engiyikhuluma ngoba iyiqiniso lodwa.
Therefore every black person who is sane in their heads should be attentive to what I'm saying, for it is just the truth.
Yikho nje umprofeti izashembela ukuthi phaphamani nina ma-Afrika vukani.
That is why the prophet repeatedly said that you awaken, awaken, all you Africans.
Ngoba sekukhona abantu abafuna ukuba besephuce lokukhosi baphakade.
For there now exists a people who want to take away from us our eternal royalty.
Njengoba ngishilo angazi ukuthi by intaba usho intaba senhlangakazi noma intaba sesinayi ngoba uShembe uyakhuluma ngentaba sesinayi ekhulume futhi ngentaba senhlangakazi.
As I had mentioned, I am not aware whether he was speaking about Mount Nhlangakazi or Mount Sinai, for the prophet would use these terms interchangeably.
Ngifisa ukuthi amakholwa onke kakhulukazi amaKristu eyilalele kahle lento engiyishoyo ngoba iyiqiniso lodwa.
I wish that all Christians would listen to me attentively, for what I'm speaking is the truth, is the pure truth.
Njengoba ngihlale ngisho inkolo yethu yakhiwa eSinayi, uNkulunkulu waletha uMose ukuba yonke into eyisho ngaye.
As I always narrate to you, our faith system was created in Mount Sinai. God sent Moshe to speak through him to us.
Uma sesiyamukele lenkolo kaJehova, uJehova wasenzela imangaliso kusuka eGibhithe size siyofika eKenani.
And when we had accepted this faith system, God performed great miracles for us since the time we were in Egypt until we arrived at Canaan.
Kodwa kwahamba abantu bamhlubungu.
But eventually people practiced apostasy against God.
Abanye babe babulala abaprofeti ngoba kubhaliwe nasezulu.
And some would persecute prophets, as it is written in the Bible.
Lokho kusho ukuthi akekho umuntu lokho kusho ukuthi akakho umuntu okholiwe ongazama ukuba ethi leli ivangeli lethu alihambe kahle.
Therefore, there is no person who is sane and is a believer who can say that our preaching is not proper.
AmaKristu lento abayikholwayo ayikho.
What the Christians believe in does not exist. It is void
Ngeindlela eziningi
in many ways.
into eyakhiwe ngabantu.
It is something that was conjured by people.
Kodwa yize yakhiwe ngabantu abamnyama baze bekhuluma izinto eziningi ngalenkolo yabo kodwa abazilutho ukuthi inkolo enjani.
But despite it being conjured by man, black people still go on to speak defensively about it but know nothing about it.
Sengeke ngachaza ukuthi ngesikhathi sika Yeshua amakholwa kwakungamakholwa kaJehova.
I have explained many a times that in the era of Yeshua, people who were believers of Yahweh.
Kodwa sebenama sect noma amabandla ahlukene njengoba namaKristian amabandla ahlukene nathi lapha sesena amabandla ahlukene.
But they were fragmented into different sects.
Kodwa bonke babekhonza uJehova.
But all of them worshipped Yahweh.
Okwenzeka ukuthi ngo-70 AD kwavela isizwe samaRoma esahlasela amaHebheru sawabulala kanye nethempeli labo. That's the fact.
What happened is that in the year 70 AD, there appeared a nation which was known as the Romans, and they attacked Jerusalem, and that is a historical fact.
Abagcina ngokubahlasela bathatha onke amagugu ethempeli bahamba nawo. That's a fact.
Not only did they end with attacking them, but they also took all the valuables and the vessels that they found there.
Base bakha inkolo yabo ababizwa ukuthi iChristianity.
And then they created their own religion, which was known as Christianity.
Ngiyafisa ukuthi bonke abantu abangamaKristu bazi ukuthi uYeshua akakaze ebe umholi wabaKristu.
I wish for all Christians to understand that Yeshua has never been the spiritual leader of the Christian religion.
Lempi ka-70 AD yalwa uYeshua sewahamba emhlabeni.
The war that broke out in the year 70 AD took place after Yeshua had passed away.
Ngakho ke kungamanga ukuthi uYeshua umholi wamaKristu.
Therefore, it is a fabrication to say that Yeshua is the leader of the Christians.
Nabapostoli lona owathi uYeshua sehambile emhlabeni wabathuma ukuthi beyoshumayela nabo babengayiwo amaKristu.
The apostles were also instructed or mandated by Yeshua to go and pronounce or preach when he had passed away. They were also not Christians.
Babe ngamaNazaretha.
They were Nazarites, Nazarenes.
Njengoba ngishilo ngithi kunamabandla avela kwaba khona abaSadusi nabaFarisi namaNazaretha abhalwe eTestamenteni Elisha.
As I had said that there were different sects. Amongst them were the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and the Nazarenes. And those are written in the New Testament.
Kodwa bonke laba bapostoli babelandela uYeshua bengaphansi kwaYeshua.
But all of them were under the authority of Yeshua.
Zikhona incwadi kwiNew Testament ekuthiwa zibhalwe abapostoli.
There are some books in the New Testament which are claimed to have been written by the apostles.
Kodwa ngisho abapostoli bafa iningi labo bafa ingakababikho lenkolo yamaKristu abazange bayibona.
But the Christian religion only came to formation after the apostles had passed away, and none of them had witnessed this religion.
ngakho ke kukudideka kubantu ukuthi beyibize ngabapostoli kodwa bengamlandeli uYeshua.
Therefore, it is a confusion that has befallen people for them to title themselves as apostles but do not follow Yeshua.
Abapostoli babe ngaphansi kwenkolo kaMose.
The apostles were under the faith system of Moshe.
AmaKristu angaphansi kwenkolo kaConstantine.
And the Christians are under the faith system of Constantine.
uNkulunkulu angithi uMose inkolo yakhe wayithathela uNkulunkulu uJehova.
Moshe took his faith system or drew his faith system from the instructions of Yahweh.
Kodwa ubuKristu buyinkolo eyakhelwe phezu kwesithixo.
But Christianity is a religion that is built upon deities.
Buyinkolo esuselwa eBabylon.
It is a Christianity that has its roots in Babylon.
Kodwa thina ethi inkolo isukela kuMose ikhamba kuMose.
But our faith system comes from Moshe.
Yikho umprofeti njena kuverse 3 umthandazo weSabatha wathi mesabeni uJehova zukulwane ngezizukulwane nigcine imithetho yakhe owanilobela yona uJehova ngenceku yakhe uMose.
That is why the prophet said in the 3rd verse of the Sabbath liturgy, fear Jehovah generations after generations and observe his commandments which he wrote through his servant Moshe, so that your worshipping may be acceptable before the Lord of hosts.
Ngiyafisa ukuthi amaKristu eyizwe kahle lento, eyizwe kahle.
I wish that the Christians would be very attentive and hear this very well.
Ongayizwa kahle lento ukuthi uthi khona ubulima onabo.
And to whom this does not appeal to, that it means that there is a certain foolishness that abides with them.
Ngokomlando, ngamaqiniso omlando, amaKristu akakaze ebe senkolweni kaJehova.
According to historical facts, Christianity or Christians have never been under the faith system of Yahweh.
Omseqinisweni ubuKristu bakhelwa ukuthi uqedwe nenkolo yamaHebheru.
In reality, the Christian religion was created so that it would abolish the faith system of the Hebrews.
Awukwazi ukuphika lokho ngoba bakubhala phansi asicabangi.
You cannot argue against that, for they wrote it down and it is nothing that comes from our thoughts.
uYeshua, as a matter of fact, akakaze ebe ngumKristu. AmaKristu fanele kwazi lokho.
And the Christians must know that Yeshua, as a matter of fact, was never a Christian.
Inkolo yobuKristu yakhiwa Constantine the Great.
The Christian religion was formed by Constantine the Great.
Inkolo yobuKristu ayinawo umprofeti.
The Christian faith system also does not have a prophet.
Ngoba inkolo eyakhelwe phezu kwepolitiki.
For it is a faith system that has its roots in politics.
Ngakho ke njengoba sesikwi-democracy kuwumsebenzi wethu ukuthi silande inkolo yethu eyachithwa.
Therefore, since we are living in a democratic era, it is our duty, or the onus is upon us to bring back our faith system.
Kuwumsebenzi wethu ukuthi sichazele abantu ukuthi indodana kaMaria kwakuYeshua hayi uJesu.
The onus is upon us to explain to people that the son of Mary was Yeshua, not Jesus.
Ukuthi uJesu uYeshua wayemHebheru engaphansi kobukhosi bakaDavide ubhalwe phansi.
And that Yeshua was a Hebrew under the progeny or kingship of David, and that is written down.
Kuneqiniso ukuthi emva kokuba amaRoma ewaxoshile amaHebheru bazakhela inkolo yabo, amaRoma mangithi amaRoma ngisho isizwe ayichitha inkolo kaJehova. That is a fact.
And it is true that after the after the Romans had persecuted the Hebrews, they then abolished the religion of the Hebrews and created their own, and that is a historical fact.
AmaRoma achitha inkolo kaJehova ngama-creeds.
The Romans abolished the faith system of Yahweh using creeds.
Lama creeds lana khona akakhiwanga yithi, akhiwa amaRoma.
The creeds that now exist were not written by us, but they were written by the Romans.
Ngizoninikeza nje ama-creeds amabili asuka enkolweni yamaRoma utshengiswa ukuthi asiphilile kahle uma ngabe singaba ngaphansi kwenkolo yamaRoma.
I will read to you two creeds just to showcase to you that these were written by them, and that if we were to be under the faith system of the Romans, that would prove us insane.
AmaKristu ayayethi mayesesontweni efundiswe enye into, kodwa ngalena eRoma kukhulunywa enye into.
When the Christians are gathered in their congregations, they are taught something else, but behind their backs in Rome, something else is spoken.
Abantu abangamaKristu babethi abawugcina umthetho kaNkulunkulu ngoba kunesivumelwano esisha. Kodwa hayi akulona iqiniso leyo.
The Christians always say that they do not observe the laws of God, for they are now under a new covenant, but that is not true.
IBhayibheli lahlanganiswa cishe eminyakeni yo-600 AD.
The Bible was compiled in the year 600 AD.
Ngaleso sikhathi wayengasekho noConstantine, kodwa yonke imfundiso yakhe yayikhona.
At the time, Constantine the Great was also no longer alive, but his doctrines were still amongst the people.
Ake ngifundele icreed yamaRoma.
I would read to you the Roman Creed.
Ithi ngiyayichitha yonke imikhosi nemicimbo nemithetho ukudla isinkwa esingenamvubelo iminikelo yamawundlu eyenziwa ngamaHebheru.
I renounce all customs, rites, legalisms, unleavened breads, and sacrifices of lambs of the Hebrews.
Ngichitha nayo yonke imikhosi yamaHebheru, iminikelo, imithandazo, injongo, ukulinda, ukuzila, ukuzingcwelisa kanye nokudumisa kwabo.
And all the other feasts of the Hebrews, sacrifices, prayers, aspirations, purifications, sanctifications, and propitiation.
Niyabona ukuthi ngale creed uchithwe bonke ubuHebheru.
Can you see that from this creed all Hebrewism is abolished?
Kuze kwachithwa ngisho ukuzingcwelisa, ngamanye amazwi ukuzila uzingcwelise uchithiwe.
And they have also abolished the sanctifications and purifications, and so therefore fasting is no longer permitted.
Ngiyachitha ukuzila kwabo, imikhosi yabo yokweshwama, amasabathe abo nenkoleloze, amahubo nezaka nokuya kwabo ukuyokhonza emathempelini.
And fasts and new moons and Shabbats and superstitions and hymns and chants and observances and synagogues.
Mina ngokwami ngithi angikufisi nakancane ukuthi kube khona ukubuya kwalenkoleloze yamaJuda.
I shall wish to deny and return to Jewish superstition.
Ngenza imikhosi kanye nabo noma ngandlela thile kukhulunywa nabo ngasese kuphikiswana nobuKristu.
Or shall be found eating with Jews or feasting with them, or secretly conversing and condemning the Christian religion.
Kunalokho uma kukhona ukukhuluma nabo kufanele kube ukuthi bayatshelwa ngokusobala ukuthi bashiye lo mhlangano wabo wenkolo yamaJuda.
I shall wish to deny and return to the Jewish superstition, or shall be found eating with Jews, or feasting with them, or secretly conversing and condemning the Christian religion, instead of openly confuting them and condemning their vain faith.
Uma eke wabakhona otholakala enza lokho noma imina uqobo, ngiyacela isiqalekiso sikaKhayini noma isifo sobulephero bukaGehazi sivele sehlele kimi ngaleso sikhathi.
Then the trembling of Cain and the leprosy of Gehazi cleaved to me.
Angizukuyifunda yonke kodwa ngizama ukunitshengisa ukuthi akulona iqiniso, in fact amanga okusetshenzisweni amalungu ukuthi kuthiwa amaKristu akawugcini umthetho ngoba engasaphili ngaphansi komthetho. Amanga lawo.
I will not read the whole creed, but I'm just trying to provide to you the evidence that it is not true that the Christians do not observe the law because they are under a new covenant. That is a lie.
Sengishilo ukuthi ukuchithwa kwamaKristu kwenziwe eminyakeni yo-300 AD, kodwa ukuvela kweNew Testament kwevela eminyakeni ewu-600 AD.
I have explained that the abolishment of Hebrew took place in the year 70 AD, but the appearance of these books and Christianity was around 600 AD.
Noma ngakubhalanga lapha kodwa enye icreed iyasho ukuthi uma kutholakala umuntu nje egcina isabatha kufanele ibulawe. Lokho kuwumthetho wamaRoma, kwakuwumthetho wamaRoma.
Though I have not read it out here, but amongst the creeds there is a creed that says that if one is found observing the Shabbat, they should be killed.
Njengoba kubhaliwe lapha, kwakuwumthetho wamaRoma ukuthi kuchithwe ubuNazaretha, kuchithwe isabatha.
As it is written here, it was the Roman law that they should abolish the law of the Hebrews and the Nazarenes and the Shabbat.
Kwenye indawo kubhalwe ukuthi singamkhonzi uJehova.
Amongst within these creeds is also written that we should not worship Yahweh.
Ngoba uyashwe uJehova uyisithixo samaHebheru, akayena uNkulunkulu, uyisithixo samaHebheru.
For they refer to Yahweh as a deity of the Hebrews. They do not refer to him as the true God.
Njengoba ngishilo, uYeshua wayengumNazaretha.
As I've said, Yeshua was a Nazarite.
Abalandeli bakaYeshua kwakungamaNazaretha.
And the followers of Yeshua were also Nazarites.
uYeshua wachithwa amaRoma.
Yeshua was done away with by the Romans.
Angisho ngaleso sikhathi wayesewahamba emhlabeni, kodwa nje inkolo kaYeshua negama likaYeshua lachithwa amaRoma njengegama likaJehova.
Though at the time he was no longer alive, but his name and his faith system was abolished by the Romans.
Ngizofunda lapha okwakuchithwa khona amaNazaretha angamaCreeds.
I will also read the aspect where they were exterminating the Nazarites through creeds.
Kufanele esikhathini samanje sike sibhekisise laba ama-heretics abazibiza ngokuthi ngamaNazaretha. Ngisho ukubabheka nje uyabona ukuthi bangamaJuda, ayikho enye into.
We shall now especially consider heretics who call themselves Nazarenes. They are mainly Jews and nothing else.
lapha awucaci ukuthi kanti kukhulunywa ngenkolo noma kukhulunywa ngesizwe. Lokhu kwenziwa ukuthi vele onke amaJuda ayilahliwe noma abe umNazaretha noma abe yini babelahliwe.
It is not clear whether they were speaking about a nation or the faith system of the Nazarenes, but what we do know is that all the Jews were disowned of.
Kuyaqhutshwa kuthiwa abasebenzi iTestament elisha kuphela, kodwa baphinde besebenzise nalelo elidala lamaJuda.
It goes on to say that they make use not only of the New Testament, but they also use in a way the Old Testament of the Jews.
Abayichithi imithetho yamaJuda nabaprofeti nemibhalo yabo.
For they do not forbid the books of the Torah, the prophets, and their writings.
Awuyizwa nje leyo. Balwela ukuthi amaNazaretha elalelo kushiwo ngabaprofeti kuphiwa izakha kuphiwa amahubo.
Just listen to that they are fighting against the Nazarites, listening to what or observing what the prophets said. They are against the Psalms and the Proverbs.
Ngalokho kwenza ukuthi babe abemukelekile kumaJuda njengoba bengahluke ngalutho kuwona.
So that they are approved of by the Jews, from whom the Nazarites do not differ in anything.
Kusho ukuthi uma ungumKristu akufanele ukhulume neJuda ngaphandle kokuthi uma ulethe uthilize enkolweni yakho.
So therefore it means that if you are a Christian, you are not allowed to speak to a Jew apart from when you are convincing or converting them to your religion.
Basho zonke izinto lezi ezifundiswa emabandleni abo amaJuda. Okwehlukile ngabo kumaJuda ukuthi noma bayakholelwa ukuthi bona bayakholelwa kuMessiah uJesu Kristu.
And they profess all the dogmas pertaining to the prescriptions of the Torah and to the customs of the Jews, except they believe in the Messiah.
Nalobu uNazaretha kunjalo siyafunda iTestament elidala sibelieve konke useTestament elidala.
This Nazarene faith is also the same. We believe in the Old Testament and we read everything that is in it.
Siyafunda futhi iTestament elisha siyafunda zonke imfundiso kaYeshua.
And we also read the New Testament and the teachings of Yeshua.
Ngokwalama creeds ufanele sibulawe.
In accordance to these creeds, we should be persecuted.
Ngithena kubalekile ukuthi sazi ukuthi kwaqedwa nini ubuNazaretha uqedwa ngobani. Lokho kufanele sikwazi.
I said that it is important for us to know when the Nazarite faith was done away with and by whom.
Iqiniso ukuthi ubuNazaretha baqedwa amaRoma. That's a fact.
The truth is that the Nazarite faith was done away with by the Romans.
Inkolo yonke nje yamaNazaretha noYeshua wachithwa amaRoma.
The whole faith system of the Nazarites and Yeshua was abolished by the Romans.
Ngike ngayifunda lencwadi kaKoste. It come out of her my people. Ukuchaza kahle uKoste ukuthi babemfuna umsindisi kodwa hayi umsindisi ongumJuda.
I read the book by Costa and he said that they wanted a Messiah but not one who was a Jew.
Wachaza ukuthi babe wazonda amaJuda bezonda noNkulunkulu wabo kwiOld Testament okuJehova.
And he explained that they despised the Jews, inclusively speaking of their God, which was Yahweh.
Manje na ke uma kunjalo thina sihlangana naphi noKristu uma uKristu uzonda uJehova uma uKristu uzonda uJesu ngoba phela into eyenza ukuthi uyeshwe ngababikho ukuthi akasiyena ukuthi ungumsindisi wamaHebheru.
And if that is the case, then what affiliation do we have with the Christians? What affiliation do we have with the Roman belief system?
So okwenzekile in practice bafike bachitha inkolo yamaHebheru bavuse yabo base bethatha abantu abamnyama bethi inkolo kuyiyona ile yabo ayi Christianity not le kaJehova. That is what happened.
So what transpired is that they took on the religion of the Hebrews and abolished it, and then created their own religion, and then converted the Africans to be part of their own religion, not the faith system of Yahweh.
Ngakho umuntu ongumKristu akakwazi ukuphika ukuthi abagcina isabatha ngoba belandela iCreed yaseRome hayi ngoba kuPaul.
So therefore a person who is a Christian cannot deny that they do not observe the Shabbat as a result of the Roman Creed, not because of Paul the Apostle.
Aligcinwa isabatha ngoba inkolo yamalukhuza yenqatshela. Inkolo yamaHebheru yenqatshela kuba khona.
They do not observe the Shabbat for the Hebrew faith system is not allowed to exist.
Bafundisa lokuthi kukhona uNkulunkulu oyedwa. Kodwa uJesu yena uyindodana yakhe. Bakusola lokho ukuthi kuthiwa khona uNkulunkulu oyedwa bese kuthiwa uJesu uyindodana yakhe.
They preach that there is but one God and his son Yeshua, which means that these people are against saying that there is one God and Yeshua is his son.
Ngiyafisa ukuthi amaKristu amnyama ngikhuluma ngabelungu amaKristu amnyama eyilalelise lento engiyikhuluma ngoba kusuke ingilosi ezulwini yazosifundisa ngenkolo ezokwenza ukuthi ungene ezulwini.
I wish that all black Christians listen attentively to what I'm saying. My attention is not focused on white Christians, for an angel has descended amongst us to teach us the way of heaven, the way that will take us into heaven.
Sehlale ingilosi iminyaka engaphezulu kwa10 ifika cishe zonke insuku izosifundisa ngendaba kaNkulunkulu.
And we have lived with the angel for almost 10 years, over 10 years, and she comes to us virtually every day to teach us about God.
Ayifiki ngesibonakaliso noma ngephupho. Ifika nje ihlale nathi ixoxe nathi ihleke mayihleke.
She does not come through visions and dreams. She just comes amongst us and speaks to us and laughs if there is a need to.
Ngakho-ke kufanele ukuthi sizondwe ngamaKristu, sizondwe ngamaNazaretha, sizondwe inkolo yomdabu ngoba elethi ivangeli livela ezulwini, ilethwe ingilosi.
And therefore it is expected for us to be despised by the Nazarenes, the Christians, and the people from the traditional religions. For our proclamations come from heaven through the angel.
Kodwa okudabukisayo ukuthi abantu abamnyama abayiboni lona.
But what is sad is that black people are not aware of that.
Bona bathatha noma ikuphi okusho abantu ababazi kahle ukuthi bayizitha zabo.
They just take anything that comes from a people whom they know that they are enemies to them.
Encwadini kaHosea 4:6 uJehova uthi abantu bami bayabhujiswa ngokuswela ulwazi njengoba ulenqabile ulwazi nami ngiyenqaba ukuba ube ngumphristi wami.
My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. For you have, since you have disowned knowledge, I will also disown you.
Vele abantu abamnyama abazilutho ngendaba kaNkulunkulu.
And it is true that black people know nothing about God, about matters of God.
Kunalokho sebekhonza onkulunkulu bezizwe lento leNkulunkulu wathi ayifuni.
Instead, they are now worshipping demigods from other nations, which God said that He is against.
Deuteronomy 13 verse 6 to 8. Ilokhu okubhalwe kuma-creeds.
In the book of Deuteronomy 13 verses 9.
Verses 6 to 8 ilokhu okukhulunywa uJehova.
Verses 6 to 8, this is what has been spoken by God.
Uma umfowenu indodana kanyoko noma indodana yakho ethi asihambe siyokhonza uNkulunkulu eningabaziyo nokhokho benu, lo muntu anikumdabukela nimbulale nimkhande ngamatshe umuntu oshubayela lelo vangeli.
If your very own brother or your son or daughter or the wife you love or your closest friend secretly entices you, saying, "Let us go and worship other gods, gods of the people around you, whether near or far from one end of the land to the other, do not yield to him or listen to him. Show him no pity. Do not spare him or shield him. You must certainly put him to death."
Uthike uJehova ngokuba uzame ukuhlubukisa uzama ukuhlumisa kuJehova uNkulunkulu wenu owanikhipha eGibhithe.
Because he tried to turn you away from your God Yahweh, who brought you out of Egypt.
Angazi lento uNkulunkulu wasephameni ukuthi ngayenza kanjani ukuthi bebone ukuthi laba abantu abalandela lokuKristu basengozini engakanani.
I do not know what I can do to show these people that they are at the edge of danger by following these religions.
Lokho engikukhulumayo angikhulumi njengomuntu onogqozi lokuhlabelela lokushumayela, kodwa ngikhuluma ngoba kwehle ingilosi ezwini yazosifundisa ukuthi ukuze ningene ezwini yini okufanele niyenze.
And what I'm speaking is not because I have the enthusiasm to preach, but it is because an angel from heaven has came amongst us and taught us this.
Inkinga yethu ukuthi simlahlile uJehova.
Our problem is that we have forsaken Yahweh.
Deuteronomy 28 ambange ngisalokhoza. Deuteronomy 13 verse 6. Uthi lapha anikumyeka niyakumkhanga ngamatshe aze afe. Umuntu onimfundisa abanye uNkulunkulu njengoba nanga njena amaKristu akhuluma ngabanye uNkulunkulu.
And in one of the verses which I do not read, it says that you shall not spare him, but you must stone him to death, as these other Christians are teaching us about other gods.
Ayikanye into abangayichaza ngaphandle ukuthi bakhonza isithixo ngoba uJesu akakaze bekhona emhlabeni.
There is no other logical explanation that they can give apart from the fact that they are worshipping a deity, for Jesus has never existed on earth.
Laba bafaka uJesu enkolweni yabuKristu, they are confusing themselves.
The people who are involving Jesus in the Christian faith are confusing themselves.
Ngoba njengoba ngisho nje uJesu akakaze bekhona emhlabeni.
Since I have said to you that Yeshua has never existed here on earth.
Obekhona uYeshua ozalwa uMaria.
But it is Yeshua, the son of Mary, who existed.
ObengumHebrew.
Who was a Hebrew.
Engokhokho bethu.
He was our forefather.
Kodwa ngokuhlakanipha kwalezizwe zafike zakhanda uNkulunkulu wazo zasezisebenzisa ama-attributes omprofeti wethu.
But through the cunning of these nations, they then took on our faith systems and then used they built their own faith systems and then used the attributes of our prophets.
Uyebheka lento ukuthi njengoba ngishumayela kini njena ngathi mangasekho emhlabeni bese kuqhamuka nje omunye umuntu esebizwa bese kuthatha yonke into ebiyenziwa yimina inikezwe lo muntu ongekho.
look at it from the perspective of myself, that as I stand before you, if I were to pass away, then everything that I've said and what I've done is then taken and attributed to a person who has never even existed.
Lesi sithombe abasibekayo isithombe sikasizare Bogi akusona sika Yeshua ngoba esika Jesu ngoba akaze bekhona.
And the image that they look upon is the image of Caesar Borgia, for Jesus, the Jesus that they are talking about has never existed.
Manje thina abantu abamnyama sikhonza umlungu.
So we as black people are worshipping a white man.
Simkhonza ngempela ubekiwe phambi kwethu simfaka ngisho emathempelini simfake ngisho endlini zethu umlungu bese sithi uYeshua lo kodwa akusiyena uYeshua into umlungu nje wavela wakhetha kwenziwa isithombe sakhe.
And we are truly worshipping this white man, and you find him amongst our temples and houses, but that image is not Yeshua. It is just a white man who was merely chosen and portrayed up.
So uma ngase udwebe inkolo kaYeshua kaJehova ungayisusela lapha nesinayi hambe bese ifike ima ngoJesu nabaprofeti nabapostoli.
So if you were to draw out a line using the of the faith system of Yahweh, you would draw it from the time of Moshe at Mount Sinai, and it would string out up until the time of Yeshua and the apostles.
Mhla amantaliyane ehlakaza iJerusalem ethatha yonke into yalo lokho kwakuqeda inkolo kaJehova.
And when the Italians destroyed Jerusalem and took all the valuables and the vessels found in Jerusalem, that was the abolishment of the faith system of Yahweh. And then they created this vain religion. And because we mimicked the behavior of the baboon, we then left what was ours, and then we followed the white man.
Namhlanje kunabantu abamnyama abathi Jesu 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 asinandaba nokuthi bethi Jesu kodwa kufanele bazi ukuthi akakho Jesu noma bayamkhanda noma benze njani akekho.
And today there are black people who constantly shout Jesus Jesus Jesus, and we do not care about that, but they must know that such a character does not exist, be it that they create him or not, but he does not exist.
Njoba ngishilo sihlala nengilosi thina siyazi ukuthi uJesu akekho ezulwini.
As I have said to you that we live with an angel, we know that Jesus does not exist in heaven.
Ngenkathi ngilosi sitshela lokhu kwake kwaduma ikhanda kimi ngoba nami ngangayazi lo.
And when the angel told us about this, I also was driven to a certain craziness, for I had not conceived such.
Kodwa ngenkathi sengenza ucwaningo ngathola ukuthi abantu abaningi bayazi ukuthi uJesu akekho umuntu okhona uYeshua.
And when I was carrying out my research, I found that there are a number of people who know that in reality Jesus does not exist, but it is Yeshua who does.
Abakwenza-ke ukuthi besixoshe behambe behlakaza ngoba bethi sizophela.
So what they did is to disperse us across the world in the hope that we would come to an end.
Kodwa uNkulunkulu wenzile ukuthi siphile.
But God has made it such that we remain alive.
Ngiyafisa ukuthi lento ihlale engqondweni zethu.
So I wish that this be instilled in your minds.
Ngalezo zinsuku izithuli ziyamuzwa nawe ushunayelwa kule ncwadi ngokuba ayelungile noma bayathanda noma babathandi kodwa bayoze bekuzwe okushunyayelwa kule ncwadi. Amen. Bazokuzwa. Amen.
And whether they like it or not, it will come a time when they hear what is being preached in this book. And many Christians have now come to the realization that they are being deceived. And the Nazarites have also identified that there is a problem in what they are following.
Ngakho-ke uShembe uthi ngalezo zinsuku izithulu ziyakuzwa ukushunyayelwa kule ncwadi ngoba ilungile.
And so therefore the prophet said that in those days the mute will hear what is being preached in this book.
Kwenye incwadi uthi thina nabantwana bethu siyilifa lakho asingasikhonzi isithixo sethu.
In another book the prophet said that we and our generations belong to you, so may we not worship our enemies.
Uthike uShembe thina nabantwana bethu siyilifa lakho wedwa singasikhonzi izitha zethu.
And so therefore the prophet said that we and our generations belong only to you, and may we not worship our enemies.
Namhla sibuyela kuwe thina nabantwana bethu siyilifa lakho wedwa.
And today we return back to you, we and our children, and we only belong to you.
Njengoba silapha nje siyilifa likaJehova, siyilifa likaJehova ngeke ukushintshe lokho.
As we are here, we are the sole property of Yahweh, and you cannot change that.
Abathanda ukuchitha leli iqiniso, we don't care, asinenda.
And to those who want to fight against this truth, we do not care about them.
Kodwa sebebaningi abantu ababona ukuthi uYeshua akakhonzwa la, akhulunywa ngoYeshua. Sebebaningi amaKristu.
But there are many people who have now come to the realization that Yeshua is not being given praise, and it is the Christians who have identified that.
Bathi ukhona umthathu emunye into engekho leyo.
And they say that there is a Trinity, and that is something that does not exist.
uYeshua uyedwa.
There is only one Yeshua.
uNkulunkulu uJehova uyedwa.
And there is only one God who is Yahweh.
And umoya oyingcwele uwodwa.
And there is only one Holy Spirit.
Ngiyafisa ukuthi nikwazi ukuthi thina sikholelwa iTrinity.
And I wish for you to know that we do not believe in the Trinity.
Ngoba uShembe wasifundisa ukuthi sidumise uJehova kuphela.
For the prophet taught us that we should only worship Yahweh.
Yonke lento ukuthi uYeshua wazalwa ngomoya ayikho.
This whole concept of the Immaculate Conception does not exist.
Ngisho abapostoli bakaYeshua abakaze besho ukuthi babalokuza uYeshua wazalwa ngomoya.
Even the apostles of Yeshua did not say that Yeshua was born through the Immaculate Conception.
Niqonde kahle ukuthi uMathewu kuphela othi uYeshua wazalwa ngomoya.
You must understand clearly that it is only Matthew who speaks about the Immaculate Conception.
Kodwa uMathewu akasiyena umpostoli kaYeshua.
But Matthew is not an apostle of Yeshua.
Njengoba ngishilo uJerome watranslate izintshumayelo zamaHebheru okuthiwa gospel of the Nazareth.
As I have said that it is Jerome who took on the gospel of the Nazarenes and translated that.
leli vangeli owayesehumushile wayeseqamba igama ethi ngokuka Matthew.
And then he titled his interpretation or his translation by saying in accordance to Matthew.
Wayesebhala zonke ke lezi zinto lezi zokuthi uYeshua wazalwa ngomoya nayo yonke into kodwa wayiqamba manga.
And then he wrote all these things about Yeshua being born through the Immaculate Conception, but that was just a fabrication.
Abantu bokuqala babeyositshela le ndaba apostoli bakaJesu.
The first people who would have narrated that to us were the apostles of Yeshua.
Kodwa in this case, even Paul abahlale bemkhota uyayiphika leyo.
But in this case, even Paul speaks against that.
Ngakho ke fanele sibuyele kuJehova.
Therefore, we should go back to Yahweh.
Engikushoyo ukuthi sihlalele umsebenzi omkhulu.
What I'm saying is that we are faced with a mammoth task.
Sihlalele umsebenzi wokutshela umhlaba ukuthi izwi lezulu seliphezulu kwethu.
We are faced with the mammoth task of pronouncing to the world that the word of heaven is now upon us.
Nokuthi asilamukele ngeinhliziyo ezimhlophe.
And that we must receive it with pure hearts.
Akusashintshi lutho.
And nothing is going to change.
Lo mlilo usulayithiwe.
This fire has been lit.
Noma bengawuchitha benzeni nani kodwa lo mlilo lona usubasiwe.
They might try to extinguish it and do other things, but this fire has been lit.
Kuyisifundiso zakithi ngicela ukuthi lento siyenze noma ngabe ingafezeka sengafa kusho lutho kodwa fanele yenzeke.
To the academics that are amongst us, let us carry this out, even if it were to manifest when I am no longer alive. But let us carry it out.
Kufanele kube ne commission, i-Truth and Reconciliation Commission, ezochaza kahle ukuthi kwenzeke kanjani ukuthi uYeshua ecime bese kuqhamuka umuntu oJesus esezothatha umsebenzi wakhe. Kwenzeke kanjani lokho? We need a commission to that. Ngoba manje
there should be a commission, a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, that will tell us how it came about that Yeshua would be abolished and his works were attributed to Jesus who never existed.
Kwenzeke kanjani ukuthi uYeshua bese eba yiNtaliyane kodwa eBhayibhelini sazi ukuthi uYeshua wabe engumHebrew? Kwenzeke kanjani lokho?
How did it happen that Yeshua became an Italian, whilst in the Bible it is written that he is a Hebrew?
Kwenzelwani ukuthi uma sekubhala iTestament lichithwe igama likaYeshua nelaJohane bese kuqhamuka naleli labo lithi uJesu? Bakwenzeleni lokho? We need a commission to that.
Why is it that when they were compiling the Testament, they did away with the name of Yeshua but came up with the name Jesus? So we need a commission to inquire about that.
Siphila manje kwi-era ye-Renaissance ngoba sesilokhu sesikhululekile nje.
We now live in an era of the Renaissance, a democratic era.
Asivula amehlo ethu.
Now let us open our eyes.
Singadlali izizwe.
And not be made fools by other nations.
Le commission afanele igcine lapho. Fanele commission isho ukuthi lamanga ukuthi uShembe wandiza avelaphi.
And this commission should extend further than that and explain this fabrication that the prophets tried to fly, where the roots of that are.
Nginayo imanuscript lapho kwabhalwe khona Mrs. Wells echaza ukuthi kulomhlangano babe nawo kwathiwani ngoShembe.
I do have a manuscript that was written by Mrs. Wells, and she was explaining what was said about the prophet Isaiah Shembe in the meeting that they held.
Ngoba kule council okwakukhona zonke imission ezimhlophe la eSouth Africa. Mrs. Wells wayekhona bengazi ukuthi Mrs. Wells ujwayelene noShembe.
Because in that council, which comprised of different white missions, Mrs. Wells was also present, and they were not aware that she was fond of the prophet.
Abantu abamnyama bacabangisa okwemfene ngalokho ngishiwo.
Black people think like baboons, and I will keep on saying this.
Yes, bacabangisa okwemfene.
Yes, they think like baboons.
Bathatha yonke into eshiwo umlungu bisiba yiqiniso nomethe ukuthi ingamanga kangakanani.
They take on everything that has been said by the white man and believe it to be the truth, no matter how much of a lie it is.
Ngiyangihlupheke uma ngibona lokhu ngoba ngempela lo muntu owabhala imfene ezaziphethe isaka lezindlubu wayengakhulumi ngazo imfene wayekhuluma ngathi.
I am always worried about this because the person who drew the baboons carrying a sack of beans was not talking about, was not referring to those baboons, but referring to us.
Ilokuza lion ibhubesi lacela kunogwaja ukuthi emphathele umntwana wakhe.
The lion asked from the rabbit that the rabbit should carry its child.
Kodwa kuthe selihambile ibhubesi umntwana walo wafa uphethwe unogwaja.
But when the lion had left, its cub died, and it was under the guideship of the rabbit.
Kuthiwa ke lathi wathi manogwaja bona ukuthi ngisenkingeni manje wayesethi iziphi ilwane eziziphuphu engayitshela noma yini zilalele.
And when the rabbit had recognized that it was in trouble, he thought to himself, which animals are foolish such that if I were to tell them that they are the ones who killed the cub, they'd listen to me. And it quickly came to the mind of the rabbit that the baboons would.
Abakompete bekomitela ukuthola leli saka lendlu kodwa behlabelele ukuthi yithi sibulela umntwana webhubesi.
And then he came up with the plan that he'd go to the baboons and say to them that there is a competition and whoever would win would get this sack of beans, and they would have to sing in this competition saying that we are the ones who killed the lion cub.
Nempela waya emfenini wafika wayifundisa ngesu baba nempimbilizana zishaya impimbilizana ithi yithi sibulela umntwana webhubesi.
And indeed they then sang loudly saying that we are the one who killed the lion cub.
Unogwaja wasegijima ebhubesini esembatholile abantu ababulela umntwana ukuze imfene.
And the rabbit then ran to the lion and said that I have found the people who have killed your cub. It is the baboons.
Uthe ngosuku lelokuza le competition imfene sashaya impimbilizane zithi yithi sibulela umntwana webhubesi la qhamuka ibhubesi labulala zona.
And whilst the monkeys were singing out and playing their instruments, the lion came and killed all of them. And the rabbit was no longer there.
And the land that you unyenyeza esikhotheni lencwadi ngazi noma sekhona ukuthi unyenyeza esikhotheni it dramatizer thinking yethu.
And the book titled It Is Lurking in the Bushes. I do not know if this book is still in existence, but it dramatizes our existence.
Namba-ke sebeqhamuka abantu abelungu badala uJesu wasifela besho yonke into nabantu nabo uJesu wasifela.
And now there has appeared white people saying that Yeshua was crucified on our behalf, and black people are follow suiting in that.
Manje ungayithenga into enjalo.
So what do you make of that?
Sisenkingeni.
We are in trouble,
Kodwa sithunyiwe.
but we have been mandated.
Sinejoka esentanyeni yethu kodwa fanele sihambe naleli joka.
And upon our necks is a yoke, but we should persist with it.
Ucabanga ukuthi kungehla ingilosi ezulwini izohlala nabantu uma kungekho konakele.
Do you think that an angel would descend from heaven to live amongst a people whilst there is nothing wrong?
Kunezinto eziningi.
There are many things that are in error here.
Manje ke ngisho ukuthi usubasiwe lo mlilo.
Now I'm saying to you that the spy has been killed.
Isaiah 55.
In 55.
Gezimpi zefikile la izela kithi selifile la izimpi zifikile la izela kithi selifile awuhlabani ake umkhosi omkhulu akholomani kahle wemakholwa izela kithi selifile kulumani kahle makholwa izela kithi selifile awumkhosi awencithakalo selifile la uze ake ukuchitha inkosi awuphume ake nelizwi ulala awukhuluma kahle wemakholwa izela kithi selifile khulumani kahle makholwa izela kithi uverse 5 uthi sengiyibonile ingilosi yasezulwini sengizwakele ukulwa ezulwini qinani amandla maqhawe ezulu. Besihlaba isandla njengoba umkhulu.
The 4th verse says that I have seen the angel from heaven. The fights have been heard in heaven. Persevere on in strength, O ye who are heroes of heaven.
Isifile ingilosi.
The angel has come
Yes, we still have Jehovah.
and has brought us or sent us back to Yahweh.
Mnamanga yini. File ingilosi we still have Jehovah. Thina manje nasiphila empini senza lento owathi ushembe khumbula ukuthi namhla usuhlele endlini kaJehova kuze kuse kupheleni kwensuku zakho. Yilokho esikwenza manje. Sesihleli endlini kaJehova ngenxa yale ngilosi.
We are now doing what the prophet has said, that remember that you have vowed that you shall live in the house of the Lord until all the days of your life. And we are now doing that.
Upupaba lamaKristu nopupaba lamaNazaretha, they can go to hell. Kodwa thina sizolandela uNkulunkulu.
All the Nazarites and Christians can go to hell, but we are going to follow God.
Kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi maningi amaNazaretha selibonile leli qiniso.
But I know that there are many Nazarites who have come to realize that this is true.
Maningi amaKristu selibonile ukuthi lento esilandelayo ayikho ngoba vela ayikho.
And there are many Christians who now have realized that what they are following is void and it does not even exist.
Akukho lutho. Inkosi uselifana. Inkosi uselifana wena. Kosi, 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 se, o Lord, uNkulunkulu wasephalameni uNkulunkulu Hashem phambi kwakho Nkosi ngaleli sabatha lakho namhlanje siyacela Nkosi usamukele sithande umusa wakho Nkosi wehlele phezulu kwethu siyacela kuqhawatela wasephalameni kuwo usenze Nkosi singakhonza izitha zethu usenze Nkosi singabakhonza abanye uNkulunkulu ngoba thina siyifa lakho wedwa wasikhetha Nkosi emandulo namanye namasingcosana Nkosi labo Nkosi obakhethile Nkosi wena owazi konke kodwa sicela Nkosi ukuthi leli bandla lakho liqele lapha emhlabeni limele iqiniso lodwa ukuthi kukhona abasithukayo kukhona abasho lokhu nalokhu akusho lutho uma sigcina umthetho wakho siyacela Nkosi usiphe inhliziyo yokwesaba isona inhliziyo Nkosi ethanda ukulandela izimiso zakho ngelakho Nkosi igama manje amen. So good.